Hey everybody, it's Dave here from Dragonhill Games. So the June 1st, 2020 banned and restricted announcement regarding companions that we all have been waiting for is here. Let's talk about this. Okay, the new companion rule. Once per game, anytime you could cast a sorcery. So obviously during your main phase and when the stack is empty, you can pay 3 generic mana to put your companion from your sideboard into your hand. Now take note here, this is a special action. So they go on to explain this a little bit further and we'll dive into that in just a moment, and not an activated ability. All right, in standard, they've gone ahead and banned Agent of Treachery and Fires of Invention, and those also follow in the historic format as well. So I do have to say I'm really happy with this ban here, Agent of Treachery. I mean, if anybody played in the Arena Open over the weekend, day one I went 7-2, which qualified me for day two, and in those 9 matches I played, 6 of them were against Yorion, Jeskai, Luca. And then my first 2 matches and my first 2 losses, because I wasn't playing that deck, my first 2 losses on game 2 were against Yorion, Jeskai, Luca. What do you know? I mean, if 80% of people are playing a deck, folks, then it's no wonder, you know, stuff from the deck gets banned. Just saying. All right, so Agent of Treachery banned, Fires of Invention. I can't say I 100% agree with Fires of Invention. I think it's a really cool card. It's a unique mechanic and it lends to creating some really awesome decks. The problem right now with Fires of Invention, which they didn't really address, they kind of just went ahead and banned Fires of Invention. But the problem with Fires of Invention is not actually Fires of Invention, in my opinion. I mean, why don't you guys let me know in the comments section below? I mean, that's what these videos are about, right? This is a discussion sort of format as best as we can on YouTube. But like I said, in my opinion, I don't think Fires was the problem. The problem was the turn 5 Yorion. So going into turn 5, you know, we would have already established ourselves having Fires of Invention in play on turn 4, and then either using our other spell casts on turn 4 to give us play something like Omen of the Sun, or maybe we already have a 0/4 wall token in play from a Birth of Meletus on a previous turn. And here comes the problem. Now the problem is, like I said, the turn 5 Yorion. So we would do something like, you know, use our first spell cast from Fires to go ahead and play Luca. Then we would sack a token with Luca, go ahead, get Agent of Treachery, steal one of our opponent's things. Now we do our second free cast. We cast Yorion, blink Agent of Treachery, blink Omen of the Sun, and whatever other omens we've got in play. And the kicker is blink Fires of Invention. So now at the end of the turn, all of those omens, we get all the benefits from those coming back. Agent of Treachery is going to come back. We're going to steal another thing from our opponent. But even more gross is that we blinked Fires of Invention. So now all the rules and all the hindrances that Fire of Invention normally have, being only allowing us to play 2 spells in a turn, go out the window because Fire of Invention is currently in exile. So now we can use all the mana that we have available, that we haven't had to spend any because we've been casting stuff for free with Fires of Invention, to go ahead and cast 1 or 2 more spells, and then end of turn, all this stuff comes back, and it's just a back-breaking turn for any other deck that you're facing that they will likely not be able to recover from. It's just an absolutely ridiculous turn that never should have been able to happen. It was a loophole with Fires of Invention and Yorion, and they didn't fix it. What they did was they just banned Fires of Invention and took a whole deck type out of the meta. So again, my opinion, why don't you let me know what you think in the comment section below. All right, let's look at some of the dates that this stuff becomes effective. So tabletop effective date is June 1st, essentially today. Nobody's playing tabletop Magic anyway, so they could have put any date there, wouldn't really matter. MTG banned and restricted and companion rules, effective date June 4th. So a few more days of living through the decks that we're currently fighting off on Arena, and then we'll be having these rules in effect on June 4th. Magic Online banned and restricted, effective now. Magic Online companion rules update effective June 4th. I'm guessing this is just to give them time to work sort of the new mechanic into the coding and all of that stuff that goes on with all of those programs. All right, let's look a little bit deeper into why they've gone ahead and done this. They go on to say our reason for making this change is based on metagame data and play rates of companion decks across all formats and on player feedback. So it's nice that they're taking player feedback into consideration here on repetitive gameplay patterns. As a group, decks using companions have too high win rates and metagame share in Standard, Pioneer, and Modern, and have already necessitated bans in Legacy and Vintage. They continue to go on and say that, long term for the health of Magic, blah, 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 we're doing this. All right, so let's again look at the companion rules change and make sure we're fully understanding exactly what's happening here. Once per game, anytime you could cast a sorcery, you can pay 3 generic mana to put your companion from your sideboard into your hand. So basically at sorcery speed, at any point during the game, we can pay 3 mana and grab our companion out of our sideboard. This is a special action, so this part here is very important. Special actions are not activated abilities. They can't be interacted with. So if I go ahead and spend the 3 mana to go ahead and grab my companion from my sideboard and put it into my hand, there's nothing you can do about that. You cannot respond to it. It doesn't go on the stack. It's not an activated ability. It happens immediately, can't be responded to, and can't be countered or stopped by cards like Phyrexian Revoker. So you also can't use things like Tail's End or, some sort of stifling effect to stop it from happening. There's absolutely no interaction with me if I pay the 3 mana to go ahead and grab it out of my sideboard. They go on to talk about Fires of Invention in Standard. Of course, over the last several weeks, Fires of Invention decks have risen to have a dominant win rate and metagame percentage in Standard, achieving a 55% win rate and having even or favorable matchups against each of the other top 10 archetypes. This indicates that metagame forces alone aren't sufficient to keep the deck in check. Like I said, go back to your Arena Open you just had on the weekend, and everybody practically was playing Fires of Invention Luca. It was either Fires of Invention Luca or bust. In addition, as we craft and test future environments, we found the card Fires of Invention to be a significant design and balance constraint because of the flexible nature of the cost reduction effect. Fires of Invention decks would continue to gain power as new higher mana cost spells are added to the environment. Like I said, it's really too bad. I don't really believe that Fires of Invention was the problem here. There was no problem with Fires of Invention. It had a reasonable meta share, or it was actually in decline before they went ahead and introduced this companion mechanic. So, you know what? Going back to just my opinion, I don't think Fires was the problem. Really, the problem here was Yorion and the abuse of Fires with Yorion. So they go ahead to talk about Luca Coppercoat Outcast and Winota Joiner of Forces combining with Agent of Treachery to do just absolutely absurd things. All right, similar bans in Historic and for similar reasons. MTG Arena player collections. So if you have copies of Fires of Invention or Agent of Treachery in your in-game prior to the update on June 4th. So this is actually kind of important. MTG Arena prior to the update on June 4th will receive an equal number of rare wildcards added to their collection as part of the update. So if you have rares, you can actually go fill your playsets of Fires of Invention and Agent of Treachery if you haven't already done so, and you will get those rares back on June 4th. Now they go on to say you can still redeem wildcards for Fires of Invention and Agent of Treachery after June 4th for formats where they're legal, such as Brawl or Friendly Direct Challenge matches. Okay, so who's actually going to do that? Players will not be receiving any wildcards as a result of the Companion's rule change, as these cards are still playable both in Standard or Historic. Okay. And then they go on to talk about adjusting. You won't be receiving Fires of Invention or Agent of Treachery in any packs unless you already have playsets of everything else. All right, so what do you guys think of this banned and restricted announcement and the changes to the companion rule? Did they go too far? Did they not go far enough? Is this fair now that we pay 3 to grab it out of our sideboard and it's in our hand? I mean, now it's interactable, right? It's unlikely we'll be able to, pay the 3 and actually cast it out on the same turn. So there is that sort of window there where we've paid to put it in our hand, and now our opponents with certain deck types and stuff like that can pluck it out of our hand. Is this far enough? I mean, I think that companions like Obosh, unfortunately, become a little bit unplayable. That particular companion was really great as an addition to, an aggro strategy. An aggro can't really afford to take a turn off, especially turn 3, to go ahead and grab their companion. And to be honest with you, I don't really think that Obosh was all that much of a problem. Like, I play that deck a lot, and there's plenty of games, probably more than half the games, that I never even cast Obosh. The deck just goes ahead and wins on its own. So, all right, why don't you guys let me know in the comments section below. Are you happy with the Agent of Treachery ban? Are you happy with Fires of Invention ban? Do you think they went too far with that one? I look forward to hearing what you guys have to say. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and smash that like button. It really helps me out, and we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.